Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Grandmaster Shaymin, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to go on to yet another episode of Fatal 12. So make sure you click that thumbs up button down below for me, because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. Leave a comment, let me know what you think of this visual novel in the comment section down below for me. And without further ado, we're about ready to move on. Quick recap of what's going on, or at least what I can tell is going on. Basically, we're down to 11 of the Fatal 12, as it says. The only thing that I really know is that we go in rounds, and in order to eliminate someone, you got to collect 3 cards of information on that person, including their name, their death, and their biggest regret. That's the only way to eliminate someone. Someone was eliminated in the very first round, which happened supposedly several days ago in game time, but now we've switched our focus to these 2 characters, which is, I mean, interestingly enough, they're in China, and I don't know really why we moved on to these characters, but for whatever reason, they've just found out some information on someone that she knows that came back from the dead, and as a result, is one of the Fatal 12, as they say. What's odd to me about that is that they all had to have died in the same instant, according to what was told. An instant means an exact moment in time, and if she witnessed this person's death, then she couldn't have died at the exact same moment that he did. So it makes it a little difficult to believe that the 2 of them died at the same time. But I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Maybe something along those lines. Maybe instant means like set minute or something. Maybe she died legitimately right after that. I don't know. But either way, they found out information on this person who I believe was number 7. Anyway, that girl who was going on about being a goddess mentioned that the cause of all of our deaths had been undone. The fact that Odette was able to notice such a paradox proves that the girl wasn't lying. Oh man, I forget what voice I gave you. Now we've got to play the guessing game. He was a fatso, so he might have had diabetes, which means he could have died from low blood sugar. Then again, I can't see a bigwig like him not taking proper precautions. So, if something killed him unexpectedly, then it'd be more likely to be a stroke or heart attack. No love for from the cards, eh? She calls it a guessing game, but she clearly isn't taking stabs in the dark. Does the fact that a card didn't appear mean she's not on the right track? She probably has to be 100% certain about the conclusion, just like the person's name. She could, if you just guess random names, you know. I don't think it's worked like that, but who knows at this point. Maybe there's some kind of condition that causes the cards to appear. How come Rose's name card never appeared before now, even though I had learned about him earlier? Hell if I know. Guess you've got to think a little harder if you're that unsure. How about you help me out here? Wait a minute. I thought up a few other possibilities just now, but I wasn't sure whether or not they were right. You sure love talking to yourself. My attempt to tease her falls on deaf ears. The grin spreads across her face, soon after bursts with confidence. Between a stroke and a heart attack, I bet that he suffered the former. Wouldn't be surprising if his diabetes caused him to have one out of the blue during his meeting. How's that sound? She directs her question towards the book, as if it nod back. Amazingly enough, it does respond. It reacts the same way as when she obtained Rose's name card. Number 7's cause of death was a stroke. Things went well this time, but it seems one of the rules is that you've got to believe in your answer to make the card appear. Card can't expect results from blind guessing, even though it all seems kind of ambiguous. So she knows the name and his cause of death, I wonder, did Frederico get this card, though? What's cool is that we can go in and open the card book. Because she now knows Seven's cause of death was stroke. But he doesn't yet, which is odd. Because he got number 7's card. And then we have number 4's card, which is this person right below him. So, you've got to believe it, huh? I should mention that Odette went through that entire process while she continued to chow down on her food. I planned on going easy on the booze so I could stay rational, but I ended up downing my drink as well. I figured that being stuck with her is a bad thing, but on the other hand, it might be perfect for me. This woman is going to be useful. It's not often that you find someone who's got the brains to match the brawn, so I should be able to get rid of anyone in my way with her around. Why would she cooperate with me, though? Maybe she figures I have all the info I need on her. So she's doing this to make sure I don't hand anything off to the other participants. We were in the same boat when it sank, so naturally you'd think we both died the same way. And since I've got her name and cause of death, she wants to keep me in check. Fair enough. Interesting. What she doesn't know is that I don't actually know her cause of death. She shouldn't know mine either. We might have died when the ship was attacked, but the actual causes weren't by drowning or from fire. In reality, the only info we have on each other is our names. Odette's just making it seem like she knows more so she can have leverage over me. Basically, the whole cooperation thing is a front so that she can get her hands on my info for when we're the last two remaining. Now that's the kind of chowing down I like to see. Bring us the best wine you've got. Yeah, count me in! The most important challenge of my life is about to begin. The most important challenge of your death is about to begin, because technically you're not really alive, but you're kind of re-alive. I don't really know, you're undead, so maybe you're more like a zombie? I'm kind of confused on what you would call that. Because they died, but they're technically alive still, but you already went through death, so it's kind of confusing. I ain't about to fail. I certainly ain't about to let her drink me under the table. We end up drinking until the wine in the restaurant is gone. Amazingly enough, she pops open another bottle back at the hotel as a substitute for water. I'm not about to join her, so I go back to my room and sleep. The next morning, I notice that I have Rose's card in my own book too. But not the cause of death. Does he not believe her answer? That seems kind of peculiar. Later that day, Odette gets me to start tailing him. Needless to say, this is for the sake of getting information regarding his regret. Divine Selection takes place at 12 p.m. on Sunday, JST. Why? That makes no sense why you'd have it at noon. So, wait, are they just gonna pass out at noon? On a freaking Sunday? That makes no sense. So we'll be in a good spot if we can manage all 3 pieces of info on him before then. As for why I'm telling him on my own, well, Odette's down with a hangover. Figures, right? Not in the way you'd imagine, though. She ain't suffering in bed. She's pissed off and screaming at everyone and everything. Can't believe she's making me second-guess her usefulness just one day later. Odette, this ain't good. Not long after I start tailing him, I have to rush back to the hotel to get Odette. Rose's company was located in one of those fancy high-class buildings in the middle of Beijing City. I lost sight of him thanks to it being so crowded, but I managed to learn his plans. A few minutes after entering the building, he made his way back out. Acting as someone there on official business, I asked the front desk about his schedule, to which they replied he was leaving on a business trip. They were hesitant about revealing the destination at first, but I managed to get them to reveal that he'd be staying in Taiwan for 3 days while visiting their local branch. Turns out we can hop on the same flight as him and haul ass over to the airport. He's on his way to Taiwan. We need to get moving. We're going after him. I knock on the door, fully expecting her to flip out at me. Imagine my surprise when she struts out of the room, all ready to go, luggage and all. As an aside, our phones and our credit cards are perfectly intact despite our washing up ashore. so we didn't have any issue buying whatever gear we needed. What is she not wearing? Why? Is that what you choose? Why? I don't understand. I just told the front desk that we'd be checking out. You what? Sorry to burst your bubble, but I was fully aware of his plans when we hashed things out last night. Why did you get me to tail him then? Ain't much of a co-op if I'm doing all the ops, you know what I mean. I'd planned on calling the whole thing off if I couldn't get your hands on such basic info. She drops the bombshell on me like it's a casual greeting. In fact, she doesn't mention what she'd do to me if I failed her little test. Proved how twisted she was. But why do I gotta be tested in the first place? You're a bit too sly for your own good. Why is that? Nothing. We leave the hotel after I rush to get my stuff together. Okay. Having made it on time and catch the same flight as Ro, we make our way to our hotel in Taiwan after landing. It's the same hotel he's staying in, so we can just choose a room far enough away from his, and to discuss our next move over some wine and cheese. I got to hand it to you. I didn't think you'd try to find him on the flight itself. Well, I couldn't find him in the flight's lobby since he had the nerve to fly business class. Then again, it's probably the best that he did, since that stomach of his would just piss off everyone in economy. Glad I was able to upgrade to business class myself, though. Managed to tail him from the arrival lounge to his hotel because of that. Meanwhile, I was stranded in economy. Do you realize the other participants know your face, right? What would you have done if he noticed and started to panic? He doesn't seem bothered. Probably doesn't expect other participants to make their way out of China to find him. In fact, the way that he's working and going about his daily life may mean that he doesn't actually believe that the divine selection's happening. True, most adults wouldn't believe that crap. Only reason I did was because we were washed ashore together. She grins nihilistically before continuing. Surely you'd have some questions about how you're still alive if you were aware that you died, though. Seems enough to believe that this whole situation's for real. I'm pretty sure you're the one with enough screws loose to reach that conclusion. More importantly, something's fishy about how long he's staying here, wouldn't you say? I grab some squares of cheese and pose that question to her. Once I confirm she's reacted to it, I continue. The people at his work said he'd be gone for 2 nights and 3 days, but the front desk here said he'd only be here for tonight. I hope you made sure he won't find out about your snooping. Damn right I did. I started shouting at them about how he's being too nosy and that they should fix things, only for them to tell me to deal with it since he's leaving in the morning. I guess that works. Still, that's odd. From what I gathered, he's visiting the Taiwan branch tomorrow, and one of their factories the day after. This hotel is pretty ideal for getting to both locations, too. Oh well, just tail him again tomorrow. I'll do my own digging in the meantime. Mind being a bit more specific? Let's forget about it for now and focus on tonight's grub. I still haven't had Taiwanese food yet, so I'm curious to see if it stacks up against some good old Mediterranean. I guess we're best off not rushing things and messing it all up. We split the rest of the wine between us and finished off the cheese. Hey, just to be clear, Mediterranean cuisine belongs to Italy, not France. If anyone's going to compare their quality to seafood here, then it's me. Okay, so they're tailing this guy. So this guy, I don't know if he knows that they're there, but so basically they're trying to figure out that final piece of information, which, if I see it correctly, oh no, he does know the cause of death now to be a stroke. Okay. The major thing I take away from yesterday's activities is that surprisingly Taiwanese food ain't half bad. Pardon. Yeah, they could work on their presentation a bit, but those steamed shrimp buns were delicious. I could see myself getting hooked on those rice noodles too. Don't let me forget the spicy stuff either. Adding some dobenjang and tianmanjang really created a perfect and rich balance between sweet and sour. Oops, that's enough of Dead's impressions for one day. Even though my stomach regrets eating so much last night, here I am in the hotel parking lot early in the morning waiting for Ro. Once I see him leave in a taxi, I make sure to follow. And now I've been sitting around outside his company's building for a good part of the day, boring as hell, but I'm used to waiting by this point. The streets of Taiwan really are an interesting sight, though. You can get a good hour's worth of entertainment from people watching. Too bad I still got another 7 hours left. After what feels like an eternity, I finally spot him leaving the building. Here we go. I figure he'll make his way back to by taxi too, but it looks like he's hoofing it instead. It's entirely possible that the people at the front desk told me he'd only be staying one night just to get rid of me, but the fact that he's not going straight back by taxi proves nothing. He could be going out for a meal with someone first. That much is normal for a corporate bigwig like him. As it turns out, he ends up in an Italian restaurant in town. A ristorante, to be exact. Italian restaurants are split into ristorantes, trattorias, and osterias. Restaurantes are the fanciest of the three. Okay. At least he's got good taste. Okay. The glass paneling makes the restaurant easy to keep an eye on, so I waltz into the cafe directly across the street. It's got a glass paneling so well, so there's no danger of losing track of him. I order an espresso and dump plenty of sugar into it. It's going to be a struggle just to make this last as long as a restaurante meal, but I've got to deal with it. As far as I could tell, it seems like a really fancy joint. Looks like he made a reservation, judging by how he's taken to his seat by one of the staff right away. Soon after, someone takes a seat across from him. A young woman. She's wearing one of those glitzy red dresses and dirty old geezers drool over. I'm pretty sure he's got a family. That doesn't take much for me to catch on to what this is about. She ain't my type, but there's no denying she's a looker. Doesn't seem like a random hostess either. That's hardly surprising, considering the kind of person he is, I guess. Having discovered their relationship, I spent the rest of my time watching them enjoy their meal. Guess he picked out the wine beforehand. Gotta hand it to him. Red wine like that would send any woman over the moon, assuming they've got good taste. Well, I mean, I don't know about that. It's just a shame that he's using his bread to wipe up the leftover pasta sauce. You're gonna make that woman feel ashamed to be with you, buddy. The restaurant seems like it's more on the expensive end compared to others around here too. Chances are he's started going... God, man, I can't read today. Jesus. Chances are he started going to these types of places more often once he hit a certain age. He has the appropriate manners, but sticking to him and also dropping old habits seems to be tricky. Not like anyone's going to call him out for it, considering his age and position. 3 hours pass before they finish eating and enjoying their after-dinner espresso. I get myself ready to leave while Ro pays for the whole thing by card. Fortunately, I know what their plan is after this, probably because I'd do the same thing. Once they leave and get in a taxi, I jump in another one and follow them. They end up making their way back to the woman's apartment, so after I confirm that they've gone inside, I return to the hotel. I don't know much about Taiwanese dogs, but some breed I'd never seen before came out to greet them both when they arrived at her place. Interesting. Took your damn time. Part of the job. How did things go on your end? She waves her hand in dismissal. Guess she wasn't able to learn anything interesting. Now she's pissed off. Meanwhile, I'm feeling pretty good because I got my hands on some crucial info. Looks like I'm the one who came out of this with more info then. Quit bragging and spit it out, asshole. Looks like she's pissed alright. I heave a quick sigh before explaining what I saw. A respectable businessman was out meeting a woman. Not family, I'd assume. His wife and 3 kids should still be in Beijing. Right, she's a young one. No doubt she's his lover, considering they shared a little kiss before heading into her apartment. What a scumbag. Seriously, though. Right? A fatty acts all respectable when he's got a hot little dish on the side. Even her dog seems attracted to him, so there's no doubt he visits often. Damn. But I was talking about you. What kind of person spies on a middle-aged man's affairs like that? Look, you can't accuse me of whatever you want. You can't accuse me of whatever you want just because you're pissed off. Anyway, it's pretty much a given that his regret has to do with his lover. Our last two attempts were regarding his family and work, but neither caused a card to appear. It might be because we weren't entirely certain, but a part of me felt like we weren't on the right track. I'm confident about this one, though, which is why I directed my comment to the book, expecting it to churn out a card for me. Oh, come on, what's this crap? It's got to be his lover. All that follows is a brief period of absolute silence, sans the sound of the air conditioning humming away in the background. Looks like you didn't dig deep enough. The fact that nothing happened despite your misplaced confidence proves you're wrong. Ellipses! I have no comeback. All I can do is begrudgingly jam a cigarette in my mouth. Mind going to a smoking area? I can't really handle the smell of those things. Guess we got to start over. Want me to tail him again tomorrow? She flashes me her standard grin in response. I guess you can have some fun doing that again. Meanwhile, I'm gonna make sure I get the right dirt on him this time around. Whatever. Can't believe he's screwing around with his lover while I'm stuck here. I find myself eyeing Odette after saying that, but nah. Wouldn't go at it with someone like her even if she asked. I head out to smoke after that, a little annoyed at myself for even considering that option. I'm still confused why we're following these two instead. We leave Taiwan in the morning and check back to the same hotel as before when we get back to Beijing. I part ways with Odette, who says she has something she wants to look into, and then I start tailing Ro again. Getting anything worthwhile regarding his regrets. How many days has it been already? Sunday? Getting anything worthwhile regarding his regrets as he goes about his daily business proves to be a lot more difficult than I expected, so I make my way back to the hotel after I confirm that he's returned home. Took your time. And where were you exactly? Oh, nowhere special. We're pretty much done until Sunday, so let's go and celebrate somewhere. How about the place we ate on our first day here, starting to crave that Peking duck again. Wait, what? You found out his regret? Sure did. I ain't telling you, though. Last thing I need is the two of us electing him at the same time and having to share our own info. Well, why would you pick him at the same time? It won't tell me either, eh? The goddess did mention something to that effect, now I think about it. Like, if two or more people elect the same person, they've got to reveal one piece of their own info to let everyone else to gain election priority. Sure, you'll be able to get info from the person you eliminate, but you're putting way too much risk in exchange. Odette's removing the chances of that happening to us by not telling me. In other words, she doesn't trust me. Can't say I trust her either, though. Anyway, how long are you gonna hang around there like a creep, geezer? Huh? Her sudden insult takes me aback, but she isn't addressing me. She's looking at the door I'd entered from. I approach the door, praying the worst-case scenario in my head won't take place, and then I open it. Chanho. I see my cover was blown quite fast. Ro Chanho. The very man we've been following around is standing right there. This means he's the one who's been tailing me all along. When did you... I admit, the fact that you two were working together took me by surprise. At first, I thought you were part of the press trying to dig into my slush funds, but that didn't seem fitting for a thug like yourself. Did you just call me a thug? He continues talking, blatantly ignoring me. I assume you're the one responsible for all this, Odette Malicon. Wow, I guess you're smart enough to realize I'm the brains of this operation. That's irrelevant. He's right. The important bit is that he called her by name, meaning he's in possession of her name card. He made that clear in an attempt to bait a response from her. Chances are that she realizes that as well, which is why she responded the way she did. I did find it difficult to swallow the whole dream world nonsense, but one can't help but believe it when someone they saw in a dream winds up on the same flight as them. That goes double for a woman who stands out as much as you do. Yeah, she really does stand out. Not only is she pretty damn tall, but she's also built like a tank. You could say she's got looks, but those don't stand out near as much. Yo, I mean, look at her freaking abs and the way that she's dressed. Like, that stands out. I gotta admit, though, I like her hair. Her hair's pretty cute. Maybe cute's not the best way to describe it, but you know what I mean. You ain't wrong about that. What are you grinning at, punk? You may want to wipe that smirk off your face. Surely you understand why I'm here, don't you? Let's work something out. I have a family to support, so I can't allow myself to die right now. I take it you know either my cause of death or my regret, then. She takes a deep breath before shaking her head. It can't be both. You'd have killed me during the first round if that were the case. Pleased to see that you have your wits about you. Hold on, if you were eavesdropping, then you should know that we've got all your info. Indeed. That's why my proposition is as follows. Miss Odette, I need you to promise that you won't elect me. If you don't, then I'll tell this little thug here everything I have on you. His expression is deathly serious. I have to stop myself from cracking a smile. The room is silent as can be, but not for the reason he's hoping. At long last, Odette shatters the illusion when she bursts out in laughter. She follows that by punching him square in the face, which sends him flying to the opposite side of the hall. The dude must weigh over 200 pounds, a true testament of her ridiculous strength. Jesus. Oh, have you lost your mind? She saunters over him, takes a seat, and laughs right in his face. He's holding his cheek after that punch, but it looks to me like his nose took more damage, considering the gushing blood. Ha ha ha! That's your proposition? Give me a break. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, the music along with this visual, working pretty well for me. She's totally a badass. And you're fine with me revealing your information? Your little cooperation will crumble right away if you do. Just try it, Fatty. You'll know that I'll have this thug kill your whole family if you do. She punches the floor as her way of telling me to keep my mouth shut. Let's say your plan works. Did you ever consider the idea of him making it through to the end? Your family wouldn't come back to life anytime soon if that happened. Not just your family. Well, we'll get your little regret to join them. You're beyond insane. Ha, shut it, you disgusting piece of trash. So this regret is a person, but it's joining apparently his dead family? But he wouldn't regret his family because he's been cheating on them, right? She stands up and kicks him straight in the gut. Gotta say, even I think she's overdoing it a bit. You're reacting it way too big for your boots. I want everything to go nice and smooth, so just give up and resign yourself to death. If you want to make propositions, then make sure you get some real info on me first, enough to protect yourself if I elect you. You insolent little... A real businessman wouldn't try to make something out of nothing. They'd try to take something small and turn it into an empire. She grabs him by the collar and spits out her insults. All he can do in response is close his eyes and turn his head away. Go write your will or something. Not that I intend to see it after you're gone. Dude got fucked. Once she finishes, she motions for me to get back into the room with her. there's plenty I want to call her out on, but the last thing I want to do is go up against her will right now. It's like I've said before, she's the type of person who tries to ultimately solve everything through violence. Once we're back in the room, she acts like nothing just happened. Anyway, let's go get some grub. Right. The woman really is nuts. The mafia might do some shady stuff now and again, but we still have some attachment to society's norms, considering we dip our hands in regular business to a certain extent. Meanwhile, people like her, who live by the rules of the sea, lack any such attachments, so she's literally a pirate. The realization helps to understand why a mafioso, there we go, like myself, can be surprised by someone's insanity. Interesting. Well, that's about all the time we have for this episode, so make sure you click that thumbs up button down below for me because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. In the next episode, we're going to see how this goes down. Will Ro end up being eliminated? Will he be able to defend himself against the incoming destruction of the rest of his life? That's a question we'll have to find out, so make sure you leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the Fatal 12 franchise so far, as well as click on that subscribe button if you haven't already for future content. So thank you all, and we'll see you next time.